Lauren in Minnesota, you're on the air. Go ahead, Lauren.
Hi, Alex, Prison Planet TV member here.
Thank you.
Just a quick call to action from the Minnesota Sovereignty Project made by a Vietnam veteran. On Thursday, February 4th, 10 a.m., south entrance to the state office building across Wright Street from Sears. We, the people, will be assembling to exercise our First Amendment rights, encourage state reps to support our constitutional options as provided in the 10th Amendment to the Constitution. Join us. Thank you. HealthcareTyranny.com.
All right. Thank you so much, Lauren. Ben in California, you're on the air.
I just have a couple of questions. One, Mike Ruppert is one of the leading people in the 9/11 Truth movement, yet he's also promoting peak oil endlessly with his movie Collapse. I wonder what you think of that. You know, in your movie Endgame, you mentioned that peak oil was a fraud. The second relates to this so-called debunking website called conspiracyscience.com. It's a step above the others. This guy is kind of just going out of his way to attack you and your movies. He gives huge reviews of them that would be very convincing if you haven't been awake for a long time. So it will bite you back in the future, I believe, if you don't address it. It's called conspiracy science.
No, sir. When you address things that are baloney, it only makes them worse. I appreciate your call. People constantly make stuff up about me. They constantly lie. They constantly edit videos together to try to make me look stupid, and I'm not really worried about it. This isn't about Alex Jones. This is about waking people up and getting them to think. And I'm not aware of the second issue you brought up, reviews of my movies. My movies are what the globalists have said, what they're actually doing. Fall the Republic, I mean, is in their own words. And so people attack it. Of course they're going to attack it. My films have been seen hundreds of millions of times conservatively for free online. We are leading the revolution against tyranny. So, of course, we're going to be attacked from every side. And if I spent all day responding to stuff that people say about me, this would not be a popular radio show. People tune in here to hear information, to hear news covered, to hear my analysis, to hear the guests we bring on, to hear what threats we think are important or how we're rallying people against corruption. If people get lied to and set back in their development, that's the fault of the liars, not the fault of me. Now, on the subject of Mike Ruppert, I have nothing to say. Okay? I have nothing to say about him. He has called for population reduction. And he's pretty well, I just have nothing to say. I mean, it's just a non-issue. We're exposing the global warming fraud. It's a joke. It's imploded. We're exposing the artificial scarcity folks that are trying to cut off the resources. There's more oil, more natural gas been discovered than we can ever even use. It's a joke there's so much. And so I don't really get into personalities unless it's somebody like Glenn Beck. Look, Michael Savage comes out. In fact, cue up that clip we played yesterday where he was talking about the ear gun. And the first clip we played yesterday where he's talking about the Reichstag and the ear gun and how Emmanuel's dad was one of the top terrorists and how he says that he believes Emmanuel will stage terror attacks. It was the first clip you played yesterday. I mean, you know, I want to give people credit when they come out and tell the truth. I don't want to be enemies with Glenn Beck, Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, or any of these guys. But Glenn Beck has taken over the Tea Party, and he is neutralizing the opposition to the New World Order. And I know he's attacked us in the past, and I know he's bad news. In fact, let's go to break with Michael Savage telling it like it is. Here it is.
Right now, what we have is a dictatorship run by a gang. It's a gang under Obama. Although I think he's the front man, I think that soon they're going to realize that he's more intelligent than they originally thought, and they're going to find out that they're going to be left out in the cold. But that's going to take a little while before the Rahm Emanuel gang realizes that Obama has outsmarted them and he's not just their front man. You know, I made a prediction on this show yesterday that I'll repeat right now so that you can mark it down. Savage predicts a Reichstag fire-like event sometime within the next year or two in America that will have been conducted by the government and blamed upon subversive elements in order to permit a dictatorship, and a naked dictatorship, to emerge in this country. If you think I'm making this up, you're right. I'm making it up. But I'm not making it up out of whole cloth. I'm making it up out of historical cloth. Rahm Emanuel is a very devious man. Rahm Emanuel has deep roots going back to dictatorial inclinations. You want me to open that one up? Would you like to discuss Rahm Emanuel and who he is and what his background is and his father's background? His father was a member of the Irgun in the early days of Israel, which I think is quite ironic when you think about it. Here you have the most anti-Israel administration in modern American history, perhaps since Eisenhower. And the chief of staff's name is Rahm Emanuel. He is from Israel, and his father fought with Meir Begin in the Irgun in the early days of the foundation of Israel. Some would term the Irgun a terrorist organization. They did horrible things. They blew up the King David Hotel, killing British soldiers. If they had any opponents within their own party, meaning Jews against Jews, they took the men that they caught who they didn't approve, and they put their hands on the top of doors, and they closed doors on their fingers and broke their fingers. They were not nice guys. They were powerful, brutal, bloodthirsty revolutionaries. That's who created Israel. And that's how every country on earth has been created, basically by tough guys who are killers. There's not a country on earth that's been created by nice men. So let's not make this an exception. So now Rahm Emanuel grows up in the home of a Jewish revolutionary in Israel, and now he is the chief of staff to the President of the United States, who happens to stab Israel in the back as one of his first acts.
And then he goes into how they're going to stage terror attacks.